Right, it's Thursday, April the 29th, 2021. Thursday this week because the weather was looking a bit dubious yesterday. So deferred it to today, and it's not much better actually. Classic April day. Maybe a shower this afternoon, but hopefully not. Let's hope that the Met are inaccurate, as is their wont recently. But anyway, I'm in Cambridgeshire today, in this little village here of Whaddon. This is their village hall, and I'm about to undertake around 8.5 miles of a Wimpole Circular, but starting here from Whaddon. So Wimpole Hall, National Trust property, well-known place. A lot of the walk is through their grounds, so should be some decent views. I'm hoping to have my lunch at Orwell Church. So as I say, it's just gone 1 PM. Should be done by around 5-ish. And let's see what awaits us. From the village hall, I'm crossing this sports field towards Whaddon Church. And incidentally, I must point out that this is another North Herts Ramblers walk. So thanks to them for it. So here we are. Looks like it's under refurbishment. I'll find out the name in a minute. Well, it's another St Mary's, and doesn't look much in use at the minute. Clearly it is though. And once again, the first thing that hits you as you leave the village is the smell of rape. Now you can see in the distance there, Wimpole is up on an elevation there. And you might be able to hear already, it's quite breezy today, chill northwesterly. Around 10 degrees today, chill factor lowers it a bit. A little bit of road walking out of the village prior to following this finger post to Orwell, 2.5 miles hence. So I should be there in around an hour. So after following this track for a few hundred yards, follow the marker post there, turn right here. Not much to report 15 minutes in. Lots of agricultural fields. We might encounter some cattle today though, as we approach the River Cam, or Ree, meadowland. Let's see. Anyway, as I said last week, the blackthorn's now turned over. Very little bird song at the moment. Surprised there's no skylarks around. Last year's cereal crop's been left to rot. Not the crop, but the straw. Great for the birds. As I say, it's a bit surprising there's no noise, no song. And having said that, you might now be able to hear the skylark. Otherwise, I guess the fields are too large for most birds. Can't get from one side of the field to the other as a small songster. Talking of birds, small error was made last week. The duck I saw wasn't a golden eye, but indeed a tufted duck. Well done, Ian. These field-side ditches, which are partly filled with water in places, provide the sole area for wild plants to grow. Hawthorn. I've just heard a whitethroat, so it's the odd bird around. clearly okay at this time of year, but these field crossings could be an issue in the winter months. And as you may be able to hear in the background from time to time, there's a number of biplanes flying around. Very close here to, I think it's Bassingbourne Barracks. Now entering a small copse. Not many of these en route today. Crossing over an early part of the River Cam, or Ree, which I believe starts in Ashwell village. I passed through coming here this morning. Looking a bit ominous up there at the moment. Let's hope it blows over. The sun was out a few seconds ago, but it's suddenly gone dark. Fingers crossed. So, no cattle yet, but sheep, they're safe enough. Wind's picking up as well, which doesn't bode well. They are funny, aren't they, sheep? Especially the youngsters. Everything's new and mysterious to them. So there are some cattle out on my left side. That looks like a bull. It's got sheep in the same field as well, which is interesting. So there we go. More cows giving me the eye. And a bit of bird song, as you can hear. Plenty of goldfinches around. Somewhere in this tree. Looks like this fence is new. Been erected during lockdown. Good idea. Keep the cattle away from us. And it's just starting to rain. Oh dear. Primroses are growing on the bank, or the south facing bank of this ditch. As you can see, I'm out in the open just as the heavens are spitting. I wonder if that's my lunchtime destination, the village of Orwell. Bright sunshine over there whence I've come. Typical, isn't it? Okay, I've just lost about 15 minutes by walking up the wrong side of this ditch. There's the footbridge that I was looking for. Completely missed it. Anyway, let's press on before the next shower arrives by the looks of it. Passing the pumping works, sewage marked on the map. Passing the Checkers, which would also make a good lunchtime stop. And behind me is the village shop as well, for provisions if needed. Passing the Methodist chapel, which is not where I'm stopping. And I'm not stopping here either, at Chapel Orchard, Orwell's village green space. There's a chair and a picnic table over there as well. But, no, press on. St Andrew's Church with extension. That's my destination. There's the old town sign. Diocese of Ely up here. Now, as usual during COVID times, I won't be going in. So this really annoys me. The old grass cutters in here as well. Trimming and cutting the grass down to the bone. Completely unnecessary in my opinion. As you can hear him in the background there. I'll take this seat in the far corner, right at the back of the churchyard, away from that noisy strimmer. We're almost exactly 4 mile into the walk now, so coming up halfway. Probably 3.5 actually, because I made a bit of an error. 3 o'clock, lunch has been served, and would you Adam and Eve it, the swimmers have just started up again. Seem to have mimicked my lunch break. Anyway, let's press on. There is St Andrews from another angle, and in the distance there you can see we get a good vista. Certainly would from the church tower. Today's heights are not brilliant. Highest point today's around 140 foot, which I'm currently stood at. Lowest point's about 57 feet, I think. But yeah, I bet that's a nice view from the church tower. Now walking alongside woodland up to Wimpole. It's a shame we're not in the woodland actually. The footpath finger post marker does take us, or does indicate that you go through the woodland next to the road, but you don't actually. That higher ridge over in the distance there, I should imagine is the Royston Heathland that I filmed last year. I remember looking at Wimpole from up on it. There's a noisy helicopter buzzing ahead of me, which I assume is over at Bassingbourne, but we'll soon find out as we get nearer, I'm sure. See, there is a little path into the woodland there, but I won't be tempted. Cobb's Wood on the map. Don't know if that's got anything to do with the nuts. This doesn't bode well. That sign's recently gone up as well, unlike the National Trust. And there are said cattle. Don't see any bull amongst them, but yeah, he's right in the middle of it. God, bloody hell, that was lucky. They were in the bottom left corner, well away from me, thankfully. This is Thornbury Hill, per the map. And I can feel their eyes following me across this field, as his cattle's want. First encounter of the season. Information panel here from the National Trust on the Wimpole Estate woodland belts, and a special feature on ash, which unfortunately, as you all know, is under threat. So having left that bull and his harem behind, we now cross this bridge, turn left. A rare section of woodland walking there, about 5 minutes worth. A rather noisy home farm over there. I can't remember why that's famous. Anyway, certainly a racket coming out of it. Google it if you're interested. Home, H-O-M-E. And I'm currently walking the Harcamlow Way again, and the Wimpole Way at this point. Not sure which aspect of Wimpole Hall this is, but it's quite busy. It's got an outdoor cafe through that arch, I do believe. There are quite a few people around, even though they've moved the car park further away. So the starting point for today's GPX is a little bit different. Don't know if that will be the case for the future, or if it's just COVID movement of the car park. So there you go. Pays your money, takes your choice. I notice there's a number of tables there. Could also be an appropriate picnic tea stop. And as you can hear, that chopper is still noisy in the background. So this is interesting. The National Trust's guidance on how to behave around cattle. I do all of that anyway, but they still seem to be particularly fond of me for some reason. Well, that must be Wimpole Hall itself. Nice crest there. As you can hear, the wind's picking up. But it's actually now turned out to be quite a nice afternoon. Better than anticipated. This is the view from the house towards Royston Heath, which I filmed from the other direction last year. That's a busy A505 there, which I do not touch on my home journey. Quiet country lanes for me. Now I notice we're also following something called the Clopton Way. That's a new one on me. I have to look into that, see where it runs from. Yeah, as I've said on walks in the past, I do like the way the Trust look after things on their estates. All done as it should be, pretty much. So leaving the estate towards the village of Arrington on the map. So just at the edge of Arrington, hidden in the hedge, is this public footpath to New Wimpole. Confirmation. And as you can see, in the winter months this field could be a trudge. Not today though, bone dry. What a lovely afternoon, completely beautiful when it's unexpected. So having got rid of the chopper, you now get a couple of old bomber planes, probably from the old base at Neesworth/Bassingbourne. Not sure what they're practicing for, probably some kind of display. Yep. In keeping with this area and its big agricultural fields, probably loads of chemicals as well. Not much in the way of wildlife today. I've seen a few swallows skimming low, but I still haven't seen a house martin, which is bizarre. Normally they arrive before the swallows. So I'm now in the middle of that tree-lined avenue that I filmed earlier. There is the hall. We're still on the Harcamlow Way. Interesting dandelion path there over to those barns, but that's not our onward journey. We turn right here, continuing on the Harcamlow. Got misrouted there over that fence, so lucky to be back on track here. Not sure what happened there, but that little set of steps through the hedge took me the wrong way. Anyway, let's get cracking because it looks a bit dark again. Leaving Wimpole Avenue behind us, and those choppers are still busy at work. Must be working for the trust, hauling heavy timbers about or something. Now that's an unusual bird of prey. It's got something in its talons as well. Don't know what it is. The bird or what's in its talons. Quite small, light coloured. And in all this sedge over here, definitely some warblers I've heard. Leave Wimpole Avenue at this track, through this low gate and on down that track that way. You can see the church in the distance, what that I'm aiming for, Whaddon, and the rape field in front of it. Might just beat the rain if I'm lucky, just feeling a spot or two now. Whaddon church getting ever closer, and the rain is getting that little bit heavier, so I need to get my skates on. So you can see I've just come from the famous Ermine Street, now back in Whaddon. So here we are, back at base, Whaddon Village Hall. 3 hours 44 later, 10.3 miles, officially 8.5, but obviously I took a couple of incorrect turns due to poor signage. So added a bit on unnecessarily. Anyway, not a bad little walk in southwest Cambridgeshire. Not much wildlife to talk about really, as you'd expect in the big wide open fields. So decent enough though. So until the next time, take care.